Hey guys, what's going on? It's Space Cowboy here. Welcome back to the channel. Before we begin anything, if you guys could, by all means, leave a like down below. It helps the channel out so much in the algorithm, and it's so easy to do. On top of that, if you are new here, by all means, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already as well, because you don't miss out on good content talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and if you hit that notification bell, it will let you know when I post new stuff, whether it be a community post or a new video. So I wanted to experiment a bit with some new software along with some angles and new type of production stuff. So I'm going to be going back to the face cam. I'm trying to make this permanent, so it's going to be a bit of a process for me over these next couple of videos. So in advance, I thank you guys so much for your patience as I take a look at a couple things. So if things look a bit different for the next couple of videos, that's why. So with that being said, I wanted to start the conversation again, but in more of a recent talking about, and that's Michael Gallup, okay? As we know, Michael Gallup is going to be up for a contract extension in 2022. He's going to be a free agent. And, with him being a third-round pick, he does not have a one-year, that fifth-year option. So Dallas has to make a decision, whether it be now or once we get into 2022, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a couple of the scenarios that could go down, what I think is the most likely, what I think is the least likely, and, just go through the motions of if the situation comes about, what would we expect. So before we do that, I need to provide some information regarding Gallup to kind of get a sense of where he's at in his career, to really give us a full focal point of, what exactly is going to be the value and how should we value Michael Gallup, okay? So to start things off, he's been in the league for 3 years, okay? And so with that, we take a look at his statistics, and as I pull him up here, going from his rookie year to now, you can definitely see the progression in his game. There were definite moments in 2018 where Michael Gallup could have had a much better statistical year, because there were many moments where, Dak Prescott missed him on a couple of plays, and, just some miscues and stuff like that. That's just natural. That happens. But more importantly, when you look at Michael Gallup in that rookie year, you could see, like, hey, this guy could be something, And to be honest with you, you could argue that he's up there for best receiver in his class. Now, then again, things have changed. Calvin Ridley's been doing better. DJ Moore, time has gone on. But he's definitely very valuable for a third-round pick. So now the question becomes, how has he really done? Has he gotten better? Obviously. Going to his next year, he has a 1,000-yard season. And what's crazy about this, he only started 12 games and played in 14 of them. Okay, so he had 66 catches. That's his career high. He had a career high in touchdowns with 6. And, you kind of got a sense of, okay, when you brought in Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup with him is one hell of a duo. It's one heck of a punch. Then you go into 2020, and then you add CeeDee Lamb into the mix, and then it's like, holy crap. Do you know the offensive firepower that the Cowboys have at the receiving core? And, there was like, hey, maybe all three can have 1,000-yard seasons. Who knows? And, he did play 15. He started 15 games and played in all 16. And you look at this situation, he had less catches with 59, 443 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. Now, let's be fair here. Michael Gallup had to play with four quarterbacks. I think it was 4, yeah, with Dak, the 3 other quarterbacks, that being Andy Dalton, Ben DiNucci, and Garrett Gilbert, okay? So when you look at that, to have that kind of production with the type of quarterbacks you have to deal with, it's still pretty good, okay? And, you could say the same thing about Amari Cooper. I mean, Amari Cooper had the best season of his year, statistically speaking, yardage-wise, and you can argue in totality, and he played with 4 quarterbacks. He didn't play with a starter. So I feel like, when we evaluate Gallup, I think that 2020 is a bit of an aberration. I think he should have really had a lot more touchdowns. And what I mean by a lot more, I'm not saying 20. I'm saying maybe 7 or 8. And then yardage-wise, he should have cracked 1,000 yards if Dak doesn't get hurt. And that's a pretty fair assessment. Now, you go into 2021, and you start asking yourself, well, how do you value Michael Gallup when you have a CeeDee Lamb here? And we've talked about this before on this channel, and more importantly, we've talked about this in circles across Cowboys fandom on YouTube, Twitter, you name it. And that is Michael Gallup. People were like, CeeDee Lamb coming in here kind of makes Michael Gallup a bit expendable, don't you think? Me personally, you can make that argument. I've said, listen, he gives you the flexibility, and that being CeeDee Lamb, where it's like, well, if you bring back Michael Gallup, now you have a trio of receivers for the next many years for Dak Prescott to work with. On top of that, if you decide to let him go, hey, CeeDee Lamb fills in the number 2 spot, and, you just go get another guy to be your 3 guy or 2 guy, whatever you want to do. And odds are you're getting a third. Now you're looking for wide receiver 3, which you could have in Simi. But at the same time, we don't know that. And I think, to be fair, Simi didn't really have the best quarterbacks to work with out in Stanford. And, I forget, I think it was David Mills, I think his quarterback. I don't really care. Point being, the Cowboys have options, okay? So let's go ahead and let's start off. Michael Gallup's market value, what exactly would I say it is? Now, when you do a bit of research, it's kind of hard to tell because we're going into a year where he has one more year on his contract. And you could argue if he balls out, he can end up getting number 1 receiver money. So the way I look at it is he could be looking at getting Kenny Galladay type of money. Or if his stats stay the same, I personally think he might be looking more at Corey Davis money. And who knows? Because there's going to be a team that's out there that wants his services. So when you really look at it, the Dallas Cowboys have to really think about what they want to do. Okay, so if the Cowboys do go down the path of, let's just say, and this is the start off here, now that we calculated the market value, what do we think is going to happen? Now, there's 3 possibilities. He's, first off, either going to be traded, he's either going to be re-signed, or he's going to be let go of. And what I mean by let go of, I mean just, walk in free agency. Now, let's start off with the most unlikely. Gallup is not getting traded. The Dallas Cowboys will not trade Michael Gallup. His highest stock was during the 2021 NFL Draft. That was probably the last opportunity you had to move him. I would not move him at this point because your best shot at possibly getting, something out of it would have been this year to get an asset like a player or picks, whatever the case may be. You're not going to trade him at the deadline. And Dallas isn't really known to trade their own players, particularly offensive ones. I know we had Cooper happen, 2018, but still. So the big thing is I don't think a trade's going to happen. Unless it's like a ridiculous offer, then no. Now, the next most likely situation is he gets re-signed. I do think if the Cowboys were to re-sign Michael Gallup, it's going to be during preseason or I don't think if he's going to get re-signed, I doubt he gets re-signed before free agency opens. I don't see it. If Stephen Jones, and keep in mind the Cowboys have, I think it's like I think this is the league. So we're going from like 180 to like 204 or something like that. I'm really waiting to kind of get a sense of like what the final roster is going to be before I go start talking about cap situation, because I'm not going to talk about cap situation when, we have 90 people on the roster. So with that being said, and also not all the rookies are signed. So, and I want to do a video talking about the rookie contracts, but I can't even talk about that right now because not all the rookies are signed. But Michael Gallup, he's more likely to be re-signed than he is to be traded. Now, the most likely situation, and this is what I'm predicting, Michael Gallup is going to be let go of, and we're going to let him walk in free agency in 2022. Dallas is known to be cheap when it comes to certain players asking for certain levels of money depending on who they are. And I know some people will be like, well, the Cowboys did give Amari Cooper his money, so they're not that stingy. Well, they did give. If you go back and you look at the situation the Cowboys were in, I want you to think about this. Back in 2019, remember when we were going into, the whole, like, well, do we bring back Amari? Do we bring back Byron Jones? What about Dak? Everyone's trying to get their payday. Look, it's embarrassing that you let Amari Cooper hit free agency and get an offer from Washington, which was more lucrative in terms of money. You're lucky he didn't take that offer. You're lucky he wants to be here, okay, because of Dak Prescott. And that's what worries me. This front office does not play free agency well at all, man. I just don't see it with them to bring Gallup back. They're gonna lowball him for like $6 to $8 million, unless he's willing to take a team-friendly deal where he's guaranteed that 12 point whatever million dollars. But if you really think about it, do you really think that the Cowboys are gonna be that, throwing their money around like that? I doubt it. So if the Cowboys let him walk, I think that they're probably going to get between a third or a fourth round compensation pick. And to be honest with you, you're just right back from square one. Because now, sure, you use the third round selection to get Michael Gallup, but now you kind of had to be like, well, we have a guy who at his ceiling is a 1B, maybe 1A on a good day, right? So Gallup, honestly, is in a situation where at his ceiling, he's best when partnered with a top guy. He's like a Juju Smith-Schuster type of guy. Not the character-wise, hell no. But in the sense of, listen, you need someone across from him to really get the most efficiency out of him. That's not disrespecting him as a player. He's one hell of a player. He has that big playability. And we've seen it. There could have been times where he had these fantastic, like, burning cornerback moments in years past, and it's just a couple missed throws, as we mentioned earlier in the video. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. First off, what do you think the Cowboys should do with Gallup? That's number one. And then number two, what do you think is going to happen? I want to see that down in the comments section below. So with that all said and done, if you liked the video, make sure to leave a like. And first off, thank you so much for reaching the end of this video. I greatly appreciate it. So on top of that, make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this and you want more of this content. And thank you so much to my channel members. If you want to be a part of the list on screen now, my recommendation would be to hit the join button and become a part of the membership list. And so, with that being said, if you guys can't wait to see more content, I mean, I don't see a reason why you can't subscribe. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, guys. Peace out. Bye-bye.